The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the New Media Factory. Some programs on this network might include strong images and language and may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi all, welcome to another episode of the theBobberyCast, the blooper edition. Today on the show we have Ramon Pastor, the one and only Jedi on the theBobberyCast so far, also known as @PhilJedi. I don't know what I'm doing here other than introducing the people who have slipped me, or not the people, but what they have slipped me. So check out Beyond the Box Facebook website, Facebook page for the latest deals on Apple, iPhones and accessories. Thank you to the people at New Media Factory, and check out the website nmfnetwork.tv to see news, to see the 12 new shows, or 12 shows in total. I haven't drunk yet, that is why I'm stuttering. So I'll have some nice day coffee now. All the goodness of life in a cup. Have a nice day, it says on here. Ramon, maybe you have something more interesting to say?
Yeah, hi, I'm Ramon.
Sorry.
No problem. Hi, I'm Ramon Pastor. I'm at PhilJedi on Twitter. I'm also the managing partner of Numlock Solutions. So we do custom iOS and Android development. So that means we do apps for clients. But at the same time, we also have our own apps. You can check them out on iTunes under Numlock Business Solutions. These apps are done by myself and our team, and we really enjoy doing apps. So hopefully, one of these days, if you guys need any apps, just let us know, and hopefully we can help you there. It's like we're thinking, which kind of app might help people? So it's like, wait, what traffic situations? Okay, let's do a traffic-related app. So we put together quickly, in a month's time, the web service, the app. And since it was for the Android competition, we released the Android version first, and then it won in the messaging communications category. A month later, I whipped up the iPhone version. Yeah, we released it, and the following year, Nokia approached us, and we got a Symbian version out. So there, it's available on 3 platforms. To be honest, we haven't really paid much attention to it because of other, you could say, other commitments or other concerns. But it's still there in the market, and it has a lot of potential, honestly, and one day I'd really hope to build on it. But for now, I guess I'm still trying to figure out what's the best, because you already have Waze, and of course you have the other sources of traffic information like the MMDA, and these are. I still have to see where exactly Street Smart would fall in today's market.
You see, like, personally, with those traffic apps, I never really got it. I mean, it's Manila, like traffic. Like, do I need to whip out my phone and check traffic? It sucks! It's like that hype with all the weather apps. Like, yeah, thanks for spamming my Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter feed. I look out of the window, I see that the sun is shining. But yeah, like, serious. Back to serious talk. Numlock. Okay. You guys, I think, are among the top of the Filipino iOS developers, mainly working for clients abroad. I think you're one of the leading development teams in that matter.
At least I'd like to think so. I guess it's honestly for 2 reasons. One, primarily because we were one of the first. The App Store opened up in 2008. A brief history there. When the App Store opened at that time, we were still doing web stuff. So Numlock was a web company way back. And we were thinking, way back, this is 5 years ago. Anyway, we were thinking, okay, we need to do something more than web, because everybody's doing web. I mean,
well, yeah, wasn't that Steve who said thou shall only develop for web apps?
Yeah, I mean, so it's like, so when Apple opened the App Store, then I thought, I love this device, but it needs something when you have apps. And I said, okay, maybe we can do apps. The first thing I was saying, mobile web apps, but no, we need to do something even closer to what people would be using. So you have the mobile apps. So we ended up, I was the first person to study iOS development at the company. We ended up, we have many developers now, but at that time it was only me and my book, and a book and online resources. There were, for those, sorry, as a side note, for people who complain that it's so difficult to study iOS development today, I'm sorry, but I don't pity you. You have so many resources available to you. Back then, trust me, it was a difficulty. But anyway, going back, so we released our first app in 2009, and Android the following year, and we've been doing apps ever since. We don't do web stuff anymore.
I find it funny you say that about so many resources available. Obviously, going to developer.apple.com is already a massive resource, which nowadays can, together with the forums where many questions are tackled, can almost compete with MSDN network. Back in the day, Microsoft who have always put everything available. But I think that for many Apple developers or beginning developers, one of the issues is like, I have to pay $99 to get access to the advanced tutorials. I want to get the $1 million ticket, but no, I'm not going to invest those 4,000 pesos.
Well, that's true. And of course, the fact that you also have to buy a Mac, which is relatively more expensive compared to maybe a
Hackintosh.
Well, yeah. To be honest, there are people I've met who develop on Hackintosh. Yeah. And even before we were exploring running OS X on a virtual machine. But the thing is, of course, in the virtual machine, performance is terrible. Yeah. On the Hackintosh, you really have to make sure that when as long as you update your developer tools and OS X 8.6 keeps releasing updates to their versions, then I see no problem with that.
It's a good step in for those who are unsure yet. And at the end of the day, you have so many tutorials. There is a lot on iTunes U as well, which Stanford updates every year to the newest semester course. And then at the end of the day, it's only $100 anymore. If you really want to make money, that should not be an issue.
Yes.
You can start with your crap book with Hackintosh running on it to decide, like, am I going to invest? And at the end of the day, a Mac Mini is not expensive. What is it now, the cheapest one? 28,000 pesos, and you have a Mac Mini, which is a really powerful device already. So like, there is lots of resources are available, and I fully agree, like, that's not an issue anymore and should not be an excuse. I think more than anything, it may show that the people may not always be fully interested in going the full stretch.
Oh yeah. Maybe it's just something they want to do. Because to be honest, it may sound cliched or it may sound trite, but if you develop apps just for the money and you don't offer something of value, you're not going to get anywhere. It's not something that, I have this brilliant game idea. Tomorrow I'm going to start on it, I'm going to make tons of money and that's it. To be honest, I think the people who really make money, ironically, the people who really make money on the App Store are those who offer something of value. So I guess, one example, is Instagram. I mean, Instagram, besides the fact that Facebook bought them out, Instagram is an app that people actually enjoy using. And that's something that money can't buy. I mean, it's a free app, so you enjoy using it, you add value, you change people's lives. I mean, I'm being overly dramatic, but still.
Instagram was a pivot as well.
Oh yeah.
They went to the lean model of Instagram because they noticed on the stats that the network before it was known was not really performing the way they wanted, but what was the most popular on their social network? That was photo sharing.
Yes.
And one of the cool things about Instagram is every Flickr enthusiast will debate whether the filter is correct or not, depending on whatever crappy monitor they use, which is not configured.
That's true. Yeah, the filters of Instagram are very controversial. Some say it democratized the beauty of photography. At the same time, some say it bastardized the beauty of photography. So, for me,
I fully get that. I see those hipsters who are lomographers and I say like, nah, that's that filter. Not from Instagram, but from Pixelmatic or whatever app. You're not a hipster, you're just a faker. Sorry hipsters, I like you. You bring in a lot of money nowadays. You're very mainstream though, I'm sorry to bring it to the point, but... But yeah, they are really popular. But that is the main thing. Like, I think if you want to develop an app, you have to be the biggest user of it.
Yes, I mean, if you develop an app and it's something that other people would use, but you won't use it, then too bad. To be honest, I guess that's something that part of the stuff I learned over the years is that, okay, of course, I've written in several apps, whether for myself or for clients, but one thing that always sticks to mind, like what you said, is, would I actually use this app? And if the answer is yes, that's a good first step.
Yeah.
But if I have an app idea and the answer is, and am I actually going to use that, and I tell myself no, then I have to think twice, because, okay, if I don't see the value in using this app, then no one else would see. It's possible that I can't convince someone else to use this app.
Yeah.
It's possible.
It's a great point as well, because we also have that with marketing of startups. You have to be your first salesperson.
Yes.
If you are not convinced yourself, like, it's difficult to convince somebody else, let alone an investor.
Of course. I agree, because the thing with startups is, at least in my humble opinion, is that each startup that wants to make a difference in the world has to start somewhere. And I guess you're right. It has to start within the people you know. So if you yourselves, on a daily basis, you keep using the app, you keep improving it, then there's hope for you. But if you sit down and say, okay, the point of this startup is just to make money, it's just to, I'm just going to, create this product that maybe is going to make a lot of money, maybe it's going to change people's lives, but I myself don't believe in it, it's not going to go anywhere.
So if we continue along that line with being the biggest user and everything, and we had, for example, a couple of weeks ago, we had Eric Gariblas here,
yes.
which was awesome when he was on the show, because he actually said that he was considering releasing Street Food Tycoon even for low-end devices on Android, scaled down graphics, because he said, I want as many people as possible to be able to use it.
Okay.
Because at heart, I'm a gamer myself.
That's true.
And so, you have done a lot in the UK for schools and everything. Your kids, every evening, do they have to play the latest word games?
No, my kid, to be honest, my son he's a gamer. He's addicted to games, and but his latest victim is Siri. What he does is, every so often he borrows my wife's iPad mini and he speaks to Siri and tells Siri crazy stuff. Some of it is not even safe for work, and he's only 7 years old. It's really crazy, and I guess that's the funny thing about kids these days and technology. It's another thing, if you're developing an app and you feel it has a very intuitive interface, or you feel it's very user-friendly, stop for a minute, give it to a kid.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can figure it out. If he can figure it out, well and good. But if not, and you say you have a great user experience, then you have to think twice about the direction of your product.
I found that funny because I think around a year and a half ago, I read an article about Siri being the future, and to be honest, I didn't see it. Not at all. I'm not going to stand in a line at the supermarket, whip out my phone. I don't want to be one of those douche-tooth guys. And now with the iWatch or whatever it is coming, if it's Knight Rider saying kid, then it's cool. But if there's 200 people at the same floor in Mega Mall saying hello, then it's kind of annoying. But then, I was reading this article, and it was Malik on GigaOM, and he was speaking about his daughter, who was 3 years, and he had been introduced to Google Voice Search. And basically, she would grab the iPad and would shout at the iPad, "Show me penguins!"
And of course, the app will show her penguins.
And of course, Siri would show penguins on Google Images.
Wow.
And then it was YouTube penguins. Oh, boom, there were the videos. And it's cool, actually, because I'm pretty sure Steve and even John Ivey would say, I'm not whipping out my phone and standing there in public, but how many generations ahead they are already.
That's true.
And of course, with the grandmothers as well.
Oh, yeah. They don't have to touch the screen and figure out where. They just say, "Show me pictures of my grandkids." And it will appear.
Philippines, local app development. In last year, a lot of hackathons have taken place. We have seen great things come out like Noah app, Project Noah. There is the guys down in Davao, Eric Su, as well, working on LiveBit.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, if we think about it, the hype, the buzz happening, there are not so many apps being released, even less for iOS at the moment. What do you think is the hurdle?
Okay. Personally, I think whether it's apps or app development in general, one big hurdle, at least here in the Philippines, is the perception that you have to invest a lot of money in order to put out apps. The thing is, of course, admittedly, $99 a year for Apple, $25 lifetime for Google Play, and then you have to invest in for Android. It can be any development machine. For iOS, it has to be a Mac. But still, that's some money involved. And I guess people have this fear or have this. It's like a risk. It's like a gamble. Like, I'm going to invest this much money. I haven't even made a single cent. But actually, I heard this somewhere before, and I don't know where. To be honest, I forgot that you have to spend money to make money. So it's like, okay, if you have a great product idea, and you see you can make a lot of money out of it, or you can help a lot of people, and you're not willing to spend $99, you're not willing to invest $30,000 in a decent computer, then definitely either you don't believe in your idea or you're not willing to take the risk. And that's something, I'm not sure if it's something in Filipinos or Asians in general, but I see people that they approach me, they tell me, okay, $99 a year, but that we haven't even made money from the app, or what, I have to pay Apple, or I have to pay Google $25, I haven't even done anything yet. And I tell them, guys, if you really believe in an idea, if you really want to help the world, just pay that money, and later on you might make it back, or you might even make more money if that's your goal. But I guess the thing is, like you said, because there's so few people taking risks, that so few apps are being pushed out, it's something that actually doesn't. It's something that hurts me deeply, because I believe in the future of apps, because it's a way of democratizing technology. It's a way of allowing people who don't know anything about technology to use technology in a way to help them. But I find it sad. Hopefully, more and more Filipinos can release apps, or are willing to invest money or take the risk to release apps, because it's something that, I mean, it sounds cliche, but it's the future. Apps are the future.
It's like you had recently in your slides.
Oh yeah, mobile isn't everything.
It is the only
thing. The only thing. Yeah, it was for a DevCon lightning talk. In where was that? Oh God, I forgot the school. But it was for the DevCon lightning talk, and what happened was, when they asked me for a topic, I was thinking, okay, it has to sound semi-dramatic. I said, okay, mobile isn't everything, because I'm a mobile developer. So at least that got me thinking, okay, so
it got me clicking on Twitter.
Yeah, and when people saw the last, like, okay, now I get it. It says just mobile isn't everything, it's the only thing. So I honestly believe that, because like I've been telling people this for a couple of, I guess, months now, that if your business isn't mobile, if you have no mobile strategy, then I'm sorry to say, but it might not go anywhere. You don't have to have a mobile app. You don't even have to have a mobile website. But as long as you address people who are mobile, whether via SMS, via ease of use on phone call, or even a responsive website, you don't even have to have specific mobile apps or website. That's the future. You have to take a step and say, okay, I need to be on mobile. It has to be a conscious decision. Yes, it also applies to people who want to develop apps. If you want to spend the rest of your life creating websites, no problem, but have a mobile strategy. If you're making back-end APIs, make sure it's REST. It fulfills the REST specifications. At least it can be used by mobile devices. So like I said, mobile. You have to be on mobile.
Yeah.
You have to be on mobile.
Going back to taking risks, do you think it also has to do with education? Because I remember every time a new API is released, back in the day before I was in the Philippines, everyone in the scene where I was, and no matter whether that was online or offline, oh, $25 or $100, like, pay, because there was this hunger. The hunger to learn a new API or SDK, but also being eager just to play with it and, you know, like Google style, throw it against the wall. It doesn't stick, but we still did it. Yeah. And at some point it may be recycled, like what Google has done with so many items.
Yes.
But like, do you think that has to do with the education, that there is not that competitive touch, I would almost call it, without going as far?
Well,
like, you know, we are going to give you a bit of paper in 10 years, now 12 years, then you can get some more years. And then when you get that paper, there is a big name waiting for you, telling you, sign on the dot here.
Actually, it's funny that you asked that, because recently we had a discussion internally. It's like, why? I mean, we're looking for developers, and it's so difficult to find quality developers. And I think, yeah, it's definitely an educational problem. I'm not gonna name any schools, but some of the...
All of them.
Well, yeah, I guess, because you can't name it all, but most, if not all, of the students coming out of schools these days, the quality of... it's difficult to find fresh graduates who have a full grasp of logic or a decent grasp of the programming languages that they went through. Some of the applicants admit that the only reason why they went into IT was because of their parents. So the passion's not there. Okay, you can remove those guys. Some people, well, they have the passion, but it seems they weren't given the opportunity to study in a quality environment. So I guess that's also the reason why they play it safe. It's like when they and even the schools themselves, I guess, they've become, I'm sorry, but I guess these schools, they've become factories for churning out corporate slaves.
Yeah.
It's sad, but I guess, yeah, it has to do with risk. I mean, hopefully, within the next 5 to 10 years, the system can be reformed, or some of the educators who are more forward-thinking can come up with schemes to encourage people to go into entrepreneurship, or to allow people to see what it's like to have a startup. So instead of presenting to corporations, because I remember in school, in business school, I was a legal management graduate. In our class, we had to revive a dead corporate product. So instead of that, what if you encourage your students, okay, form your own startups, and play with it for 6 months, for the semester, or for 1 year. Try to build a business on it. That's a good exposure for kids, instead of just having, okay, you approach this company A, company B, revive a dead product. So
Stanford actually does that. There are some IT courses where actually where they take the startup weekend concept over a whole semester.
That would be great. That would be great.
And so at Numlock, you mentioned difficult to find developers of high level, and I think that is an issue that many have experienced. There is lots of talent, but like sometimes it feels like, come on, take that last jump. How do you deal with it? I remember when I run a team, and if in the future I do again, like then every week internal hackathon, half a day, just to keep going, stimulate creativity, you know, like, let's take that product of the competitor, we have designers here, we have developers, let's take it down and rebuild how we would have done it, just for fun.
Just like what Facebook did with Snapchat, in a sense. They even incorporated Mark Zuckerberg's voice. Well, I guess in Numlock, what we do to keep developers and designers, you could say, happy, or you could say motivated, is currently actually we're encouraging them to come up with their own app ideas, with their own game ideas. And what happens is we screen them. For example, of course they have their tasks for clients. We all do our tasks for clients, but we devote a certain portion of the day to internal projects. So at least what happens is these guys, they don't feel as if they're corporate slaves, or Numlock are corporate slaves. So we devote some time to internal projects, and these internal projects, to be honest, they're fun. It's actually very enjoyable. For example, without giving away what we're currently working on internally, what happened earlier today was...
it's okay, no one is watching here. Go ahead.
No, what happened was they actually were filming this guy, one of the guys in the office. They were taking a video of him doing punches and jumping. It's like, oh, okay. And what they do was they want to see how it looks naturally, because of course the thing with animation is people who don't what do you call this, who aren't aware of how the human body works, when they try to animate figures of people, drawings of people, it looks awkward. It looks like a chicken walking around or a statue walking around. So that's what they were doing earlier today. They filmed someone on video, and I told them, okay, I want to have the raw footage. I'm going to turn it into the Harlem Shake Numlock edition. But anyway, there. So that's how we keep our developers and designers motivated, I guess. And even ourselves, when we feel as if we're doing so much client work, we think of ways we think of app ideas or game ideas that we want to work on, and we work on them, even for a part of the day.
It's especially for students an important thing to know as well, like in the startup scene, that is, if financially the startup can afford it, that is very much the culture, that X% of the time is own projects, is not being a developer for client on demand.
Yes, definitely. It's something that encourages them to be creative, because if you do client work the whole day, no, it can turn even the most good-natured of people into monsters.
And at the end of the day, most of us became geeks/nerds because we were always eager to learn more.
Yes.
Which was part with IT, and it keeps on flowing and innovating itself. So that's a factor that cannot be taken away.
Of course.
And one of the cool things for students as well is, and we keep on saying it here on the show, you come out of college, you're 22, 23, you've got 2 years to burn. If it doesn't work, you've got a brilliant experience. If it works, you may be the local Guanerberg, but most of the time they don't have kids yet, don't have all the obligations. And then if you see many serial entrepreneurs, they keep on starting from scratch again. It's in the blood, but that of course comes from the culture, family, education, keep on learning, keep on doing.
Yes.
And I think it's not just here, I assume. I've seen it in more countries, but the education plays a big role in it.
Definitely, I agree. Education plays a very, very important role. And I guess until more and more schools come up with programs to encourage entrepreneurship, to encourage the passion for learning new things, that's the only time that I guess the Philippine startup scene, or the Filipinos, can really make a mark in the startup scene worldwide.
Yeah. What are some of the cool apps you have seen, local ones?
Okay, local ones. Okay. Let's see. To be honest, when it comes to local apps, the ones that I install all the time on my iPhone are the games of Eric.
Yeah.
Because I'm really curious, because I've known him virtually. I mean, I already met him personally, but before, like with all my, with most of my contacts online, I only know you online. So when we especially in the iOS developer community, because we're a small group, we started communicating with each other online a few years back, and there we trade apps and all that. Well, Eric was one of those people, and I keep downloading his apps to see what he has, what his games are like. So I've seen all his apps, Card Drop and all that. But I really like the Street Food Tycoon. It's a nice app. The nice thing about it is, unlike his previous apps, which were pretty generic in terms of theme, this one has a Filipino flavor to it, and with the latest version, which is World Tour, it takes the concept worldwide. So it's a really fascinating way of giving an app a Filipino character, but at the same time allowing it to grow internationally, so that even people abroad can appreciate it. Because one thing I've noticed is the difficult thing with being Filipino is that there's a balance between trying to be a copycat of an American or a colonial, have a colonial mentality, at the same time retaining your Filipino character. But I don't see the conflict there, because I see that if you're a Filipino app developer or Filipino game developer and you give your game a Filipino flavor like what Eric did with Street Food Tycoon, and you're able to convince, you're able to present the uniqueness of Filipino character, Filipino culture worldwide, then you've achieved something. So among all the local app developers, Eric's apps are the ones that I download and check out, because I always look forward to what he's working on next.
I think with Street Food Tycoon World Tour, one of the amazing things is also like, let's be honest, the first one, I'm not gonna play that. Yeah, tap slide, like 3 hours later, I'm putting it aside the next day. And you know, like he told me about it, we have been in touch. Thanks, Eric, that I'm also a game character now, achievement unlocked.
You're there? Oh, wow, nice to hear
achievement unlocked, as they say in our scene, but like, I'm not gonna play that. Aside from the fact that I don't want to see my own cartoon or feed myself. But like, and then you are there, and like, he has improved on it, aside from the game, the settings, the franchise concept. The retention value has even gotten better. It's still the same game, but it's slightly more difficult. And 3 hours later, by the time Eric was here the day before launch on the show, or was it a week? No, I think it was the day before he was here, I had already finished it. Like, I don't do those games, Need for Speed and everything. Like, tap, slide, oh, come on, I see dispenser, go a little faster. Kui Mobile, what else?
Okay, off the top of my head, okay. Among the other apps that I find, ironically, some of the startups that I've seen that look promising, they don't have a mobile app yet. But I guess I'm sure they're going to get there one day. One of the more exciting, I guess it's exciting in a sense that I see potential in it, and I see that it could potentially grow internationally as well, is Mike's Tripid. I mean, I know Mike personally. His Tripid app. The good thing about that is that Tripid is a concept that is so basic, and ironically, only a few people have taken advantage. I'm not sure. To be honest, I forgot the name of the app abroad that has a similar concept. But with Tripid, the nice thing about it is that
Lyft.
Oh, yes, Lyft. Yes. Filipinos, the good thing about it is that Filipinos aren't that keen on carpooling. It's not I don't know, it's not a Filipino thing. Before, I remember when I was younger and I was abroad, I noticed that there were highways there with carpool lanes.
Yeah.
Do they actually call it carpool lanes?
Yeah, carpool lanes.
Carpool lanes. That's not prevalent here, but it's something that actually should work, because the traffic, like you said, the traffic situation here is crazy. If people besides commuting, but our current public transport system is already overloaded. So what's another solution than carpooling? If this app can convince people to carpool and make it in a way that it's safe and it's predictable, then I think it could build a behavior that could really help the country. So I guess Tripid is one company that I think that has the potential to change Filipinos' mindset of, I need to have my own car, I need to drive there. And ironically, the funny thing is, as an aside, I noticed that a lot of Filipinos, my fellow Filipinos, like buying big cars. They buy big SUVs, big Toyota Camrys, but generally we're small. I mean, not me, I'm big, but generally we're small people, and we love big cars. While in Europe, they're big people. I mean,
and they buy a smart.
You see, the small cars, and it makes sense because.
But it's a parking issue. It's because we always park at the side of the road in Europe, and most people can't parallel park.
Well, but still, it's practical. You don't need a big car. So if you have a big car, might as well carpool.
Yeah.
I mean, since people don't want to buy small cars, then at least change the behavior. Okay, let's take advantage of your big car. If you can fit 5-6 people in there, go ahead. People will consume less gasoline. It will save a lot of money in the long run.
Yeah, I think, and the Bobbery is a fan of Tripit as well. Whenever we can, we cover Tripit, or whenever there is news.
Okay.
But I think Tripit's struggle is mainly raising awareness.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, the message itself is brilliant. Now the message needs to be converted and reach as many people as possible, but I know they are working on some things with larger companies as well, introducing the concept, but then in the Philippines everyone always wants a return.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, I will trip it, but you have to give me a free parking slot in the company. Things like that, but I'm a big fan of it. I hope it sticks, although, like, between us. Sorry, Mike, you didn't hear that, but I've got another tip for you. But, like, between us, Lyft, even TechCrunch, who use it themselves, cannot make it become popular.
Oh.
Because in the tech scene, obviously, we're our own echo chamber. But yeah, in Tripit, I really hope it succeeds. Because there is a big market, it's a big need. It will not solve the traffic issues, of course, but at least it will help, and especially already with there being things like coding days in place.
Yes, that's right. I mean, it's funny, with the coding thing in place, it makes even the concept of mutual carpooling, it's like you can even maybe, this day you carpool with this person and then you switch on another day. Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Did you know that that totally flew under my radar, but I only recently discovered it? Sensor camera for Android.
What does it do?
By Softbrew Mobile. It's now a little older. Most modern OSs have built it in. And Android says 100,000 to 500,000 downloads.
Wow.
Made in the Philippines.
Wow.
Gingerbread era. Basically, it gives you the guides on the camera.
Oh.
For people who cannot frame.
Yeah, but that's a very, very basic need. Oh, who's the developer of the app?
I have not discovered it. I only know it's made locally because I recently saw a post that he made a game.
Okay.
And then looked further, but I was like, wow, more than 100,000.
Wow, yeah, that's
and like you're an iPhone user, the guides were there from the beginning with the camera.
It was there, I think, from iPhone 3G. No, iPhone 4. I think it was introduced, in iOS 4 for the iPhone 4, I think. But yeah, before that it wasn't.
I actually don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But yeah, there was a time when there was no. There was definitely a time where there was no guides on the iPhone. That would have been useful if there was an iPhone app for that.
Totally basic need. I think there were apps like Camera Plus has it as well, and but a basic need developed in the Philippines, and I noticed that they even were covered on Lifehacker.
Wow.
The app was mentioned on Lifehacker, and then of course you have the whole Avalanche.
Yes.
Of apps. I recently discovered that, and I'm a big fan of Juantamat. For iOS, for iPad.
I haven't tried that, but yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, when I saw that, okay, cool. It's another, just like Street Food Tycoon, it's another uniquely Filipino thing that, would appeal to a lot of people. It's fun. But yeah, if you can see, I'm really struggling with what do you call this, coming up with Filipino app companies or Filipino apps that I really admire, because you're right, there's still a lot of apps that haven't been developed yet. There's a lot of room for app development companies to create their own products. So
there is a lot of buzz, but okay, we have had Rai and Michi who have developed several apps, also client work.
Yes.
That is cool. ProudCloud have built several ones, like Now Showing, which is really popular, knowing the numbers. But like, there is a lot of buzz, but we don't see so much coming out at the end of the day, and that's actually sad.
That's actually very sad, I guess.
And a lot of apps fly under the radar as well, like LeanPad.
You see, I'm not even familiar with that.
There we go. Like, and you're one of the guys who should know the scene best, and like,
yes,
it's a struggle. It's sad because at the end of the day, it's so cheap and it's such a great exercise. LeanPad is basically a platform which allows parents to upload the work of their kids and have it rated by reviewers.
Oh God, that's something I would use because my son is artistic. That's something I would use to see how would people react to his work. Would you happen to know who developed the app?
I have them somewhere in Facebook.
That's the thing. You're right. It's a lack of exposure, I think. A lack of.
So we need to work at that.
Yes.
I also hope to soon on the Bobbery to have a section specifically for apps.
Yes.
But that means that I need to refocus or change the focus a little because right now the Bobbery is still extensive features. Anyway, we are reaching the end.
Okay.
Final tips for developers, final runs, final raves, whichever.
Okay, well, tips first. For those who want to create their own apps or those who want to start with their own apps, my number one tip is do your research. A lot of the this comes from experience from working with several companies and even individuals who want to have their own apps. They come to me and they say, okay, Ramon, we have a great idea for an app. It's something that the market has never seen before, and they tell me about it. They go, there's an app really like that, and then they get discouraged. Okay, so that's the first. Do your research. But on the counterpoint of that is, okay, does it matter if another app is already there? If it matters to you, then you can stop doing it. But if not, if you feel you can do that app better, go ahead. I mean, for example, can you imagine what would have happened to Facebook if Mark Zuckerberg told himself, there's already Friendster, who would use Facebook? But no. Facebook took the market by storm. It's a social network. Friendster was the most popular social network at that time, but look what happened. Yeah. Facebook is now number one. So that's my second tip. Even if someone has done that app idea before, go for it, as long as you feel you can execute it better. A wise man once said, I usually say that, I forgot who said that. A wise man once said that an idea is only worth, in other words, execution is worth much more than a great idea. You have a great idea, but if execution sucks, sorry, it's not going to fly. But if you have a great idea and the execution is even better, it's great, go for it. So that's my second tip. I guess
actually, Michael Dell said that as well.
Oh, okay.
At the talk, obviously, there are many ideas, but execution I see very little of it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Michael Dell. I should.
He definitely wasn't the first one.
Oh yes. Okay, I keep that in mind. And I guess the third thing is follow your passion. I'm personally very passionate about app development for one reason or another. Like I said before, I have this feeling that through app development, it's easy for people, it democratizes the process of changing the world. If you have a great app idea and you think that app idea can help change the world, go ahead, do your app. It's something that you really want to do. And I guess, but at the same time, marketing is key. So even at Numlock, marketing has always been the most difficult about the process. I mean, I've been doing app development for almost 5 years, for a little more than almost 5 years, yeah. And I feel that marketing has been the biggest challenge. I mean, we ourselves have released a couple of apps that have been featured here and there, but in terms of actually marketing the apps, we've had difficulty trying to come up with creative ways to market them. The Lulu people, yeah, okay, I have to give kudos to them. The Lulu guys, I love their app, I love the way it looks, but the videos are really hilarious. That's one creative way to market your app. I love the recent video with the Babe EPS 1-star thing. Wow.
Lulu is a perfect example of how to make an app.
Yes.
The app is very well executed. Additionally, the team, they knew how to play the internet, and they continue doing so.
Yes, and that's one example of marketing done well. Marketing done well.
Okay, we've reached the end. Thanks for coming. You're our first Jedi on the show.
It's too bad. Sorry, I didn't bring my lightsaber. I would have caused damage here. I don't want to hurt anybody.
But thanks for coming.
Thanks as well for having me.
We definitely need to talk how a site like the Bobbery can highlight apps more.
Sure.
And thanks everyone for watching the BobberyCast. I have decided against making this the last episode of the season, despite a break next week. I think this season will go on until we have reached number 99 and then go back to ground zero, double zero. That wouldn't work. So thanks to the people at Beyond the Box for hosting the show. Check out their website for the latest promos and deals on apples and accessories. Thanks to the people at New Media Factory who continue to cope with us here and the show. For hosting us. Check out the new shows. Right now there are 12 shows in total on nmfnetwork.tv. And as usual, I'm out here.